Hello everybody! I decided that I wanted to do a diary. I haven't done a diary for some time, so my dog is here with me because he really wants to go to bed, but I thought I wanted to share this because it happened to me today and it's like a life lesson to be learned. So, you want to hear my catastrophe that happened today? The day started off with me driving my brother to school. I was like, hey, do you want to ride to school? And he's like, sure, so we went to school. I drove him to school, and as we got into the car, I said to him, oh, and by the way, it's like winter. Like, it's freezing outside. So I was like scraping my windshield with my scraper to get all the snow and ice off. And when we got into the car, I said to him, like, my low fuel light, like, if you don't drive or if you don't own a car, or if you just don't know, low fuel light means you have low fuel, like, hello, and means you should go get fuel. Obviously, right? This should be obvious to most people. But to me, you know, I was like, ha ha ha. My gas tank is this much below empty. Like, here's empty. This is where my gas was. It was like below empty and it was like low fuel, right? And I was like, ha ha ha. Like, who thinks that, first of all? So, I drove him to school, no problems. So then I drove to the gym, no problems. So then I'm working out, whatever. I come back out to my car, I start it, and it started a little weird. I was like, oh, you know, cool. So I'm driving, like in my gym to my house, it's like 2 minutes. Like, it's so quick. So I'm driving home from the gym. So I'm going on the road. And the road, you just basically turn right and you go all the way down, keep going, and it's my house, right? Not that far away. So I go onto the road and I'm like my car is gonna die. My car is going to die. So I'm driving and I'm like, my car is gonna die, my car is gonna die. And I'm like, what do I do? Like, I'm on like a busy road where there's cars driving everywhere. What the heck do I do? So I'm driving and I'm like barely driving, first of all. I'm just there, like my car, like when I'm pushing the gas, it feels like it's not even going and it's like shaking. So I just pull into a parking lot, and this parking lot has like a grocery store, a bar, pizza place, Little Caesars Pizza, and then it has like a gas station. So I'm like, maybe I need gas. Because my dad always told me that when your low fuel light comes on, you have like, you know, it's not like low fuel, you're gonna die, you know what I mean? Like, you have time to get fuel. So that's what I always had in the back of my head, like, oh, I have time, you know? But this has been like days that my low fuel light was on. So I'm like, oh, I should go get gas, right? So here's the gas station, right? Here's the pizza place, okay? Gas station, pizza place. This is where I come into the parking lot, right? I'm like, oh my god, my car's gonna die, my car's gonna die. And there's like parking spots everywhere. So I'm like, okay, if it dies, at least I'll be in a parking spot, you know, because I'm smart that way. I'm like, oh my god. So then I'm like going towards the gas because you have to go around this, I don't even know. So like, I'm like almost there. I'm like, okay, my car's dead, my car's done die. Like, this is the legit part. So here's the pizza place. My car just dies. Like in no life, it ceased to live. So it ceased to live. And I basically was in, because I couldn't really park, you know, I couldn't like make a fancy park because my car just died. So I made as good a park as I could, so I was in like 2 parking spots basically, and I was so far away from the curb, so I was in like the middle of the road of the parking lot pretty well. But there's nothing I could do about it because my car completely died. So I'm like, when my car completely died, my key was still like turned on, so I'm looking at my dash and it says low fuel, service engine soon, and my battery light was on. Take out my key, I phoned my dad, and I was like, so, my car died, and he goes, okay, plug it in. And I'm like, no, I'm like out. Like, I'm out and about, and I'm in front of a pizza place. And he says to me, why are you in front of a pizza place when you said you're starting to eat healthy? I'm like that just triggered me. I'm like, I'm not getting pizza, you know what I mean? So then I'm like, what do I do? He goes, well, you call a tow truck, right? What else is he supposed to do? Oh my god. So I'm like, well, I think I need gas. And I'm like right beside a gas station. Like I said, pizza place, gas station. Like, I was so close. I was like, I could see it, you know? It's so cold outside. It's like -30, so it's really, really cold. So my dad's like, well, you might need gas. Is your low fuel light on? I'm like, yeah, for 3 days. He goes, oh my god, you ran out of gas. And I'm like, really? Did I really run out of gas? You think? So, you know, my dad's like, just go to the gas station, ask them for like one of those gas jugs, and you might have to pay a deposit or something like that because they might not trust you, you know, and then just go fill up your car with gas. And if it doesn't work, then your engine's like dead. So I'm like, oh my god. So I'm like right beside the gas station, and the people at the gas station, I go there a lot for gas, for snacks. Well, I don't go for snacks anymore, but I go a lot for gas there. So I'm like, thank God. I mean, I hope there's a guy working there that he knows me. So I walk there to the gas station, right? And it's about a minute walk. Like, it's not even that far. Not even a minute. It's like 40-second walk. So I get there and she goes, hi, how can I help you? I was like, my car ran out of gas. And she's like, okay. I'm like, yeah, I'm like right outside Little Caesars Pizza. And she's like, okay. I'm like, can I borrow a gas can? She goes, okay, but we don't borrow gas cans. She goes, but I know you. You come in here a lot, so I will trust you with it. I was like, oh my God, thank you. So she showed me how it worked, right? Easy. And she's like, okay, just go to the gas pump and fill it up with, you know, however much you need, and then go fill up your car. And I was like, okay, like she wants me to fill up this gas tank all the way. So like, okay, I'm only gonna put $10 in it because if I put like $50 worth of gas in there, I won't even be able to carry it. You know what I mean? So I'm using my noggin to put $10 worth of gas in there just to get me from my car to the gas station, you know, safely. So I fill it up, no problem. I go lug this thing to my car. So then I go and I want to pour the gas can into my gas tank. And I'm pouring it and I'm like, nothing's coming out. Like, I'm doing it exactly how she told me. Like, identical how she told me. By this time, I'm a little bit mad. My fingers are freezing because it's -30 out, and I'm pouring it and nothing's happening. So I'm like, oh my God. So I pour it onto the ground to see if anything's coming out, and no, nothing's coming out of the gas tank. I'm mad, and I don't get mad that often. So I'm like, oh my God, like, I ran out of gas. It's my fault, but I ran out of gas because I'm freezing cold, and why? I'm right outside Little Caesars Pizza. So I walk into Little Caesars Pizza with this gas can. She's like, hi, can I help you? I was like, can somebody tell me how to use this? And she was like looking at me like that. I'm like, I need help. She goes, I've never used one of those. I'm like, looking at her like, well, can you get somebody who does? Like, I'm never really mad or mean to people, but I was like trying my hardest to be nice. And she was like, oh yeah. And she called somebody, guy from the back. And he goes, oh yeah, I can help you out. And I'm like, oh my God, thank you so much. He was like, oh yeah, you have the cap on. And I'm like, it was that easy, you know what I mean? Like, she never told me. I never used one of these before. It was that easy this whole time, really? Like, really? And he's like, oh, where's your car? I'll come help you fill it up. I was like, thank you. Like, he did not have to do that for me. I was not expecting that, you know what I mean? Like, I was doing fine using it myself. Well, not really fine. But, so, he's like, oh yeah, he like flips my gas and he like puts the thing, and he's doing it for me. And I was like, thank you so much. Like, I do a lot of things for other people, and it was nice for a change for somebody to actually help me in a situation like that, you know what I mean? Like, it was like so nice of him to do, and I really do appreciate that. And so then I get into my car and I turn it on, and it works. And the engine light went off, the check engine soon light went off, and the low fuel light went off, and I was like, oh my God, who runs out of gas? Like me. Like, that's horrid. Now for driving, it's like 10 seconds from Little Caesars to the gas station, and I pull up at a gas pump and I'm like, here you go, can I just fill up my tank now and add to the $10? She's like, sure. So I fill it up, you know, my gas tank is all the way filled, and I go in there and I'm like, I'm so sorry I had to do this. She goes, oh no, you know, and I said that I feel embarrassed that I ran out of gas, you know, and like so close to a gas station, like who does that? And she said to me, you know, it can happen to anybody. It's happened to me, you know, you're not the only one, and, you know, don't feel embarrassed by it. And I was like, thank you. Like, all these people were being so nice to me, and, you know, like, I was so thankful for it, especially for something that was my stupidity, you know what I mean? And people were being so nice and understanding and helping, and, you know, I could have been like, you know, on the middle of a highway, and like, what would I have done then, you know? And she told me that when it happened to her, she was on the middle of a highway, and she didn't have her wallet, and she was going to go pick up her son from school, and nobody would help her. And she was like in the middle of the highway and like walking to a gas station, and nobody would help her. And I was so thankful that people were there to help me, and I was like basically at the right place at the right time, you know? And that's not usually me. I'm usually at the wrong place at the wrong time. So this is basically like a life lesson, is to, when your light goes on low fuel, get fuel. Or if your friend's fuel light goes on, tell them get fuel. Alright, like, I can't even tell you why I didn't get fuel. Like, I have money, I have time. There's so many nice people out there, and, you know, if I see somebody in that situation, I'm gonna be like one of the first people to come out there and help them now, because I did not like that situation I was in, even though I put myself in that own situation. I mean, it's my own stupidity. So that's my life lesson, is to get fuel when your low fuel light came on, because like I completely ran out of fuel. Like, how fun. So that was my little rant, I guess you would call it, and like I'm ready for bed, like my hair's up and I'm just like, woo! I hope I taught you something that you should already know. You mean like I already knew that, but you know, I didn't follow my own logic and knowing, you know, like who does that? Thank you for listening, and have a good night, everybody.